Hi everybody and welcome back to A Doodle a Day with Mrs. Rivera. Today's doodle is going to be a follow-up to episode 5, which was recommended by my daughter. As always, all you're going to need is a paper, pencil, or a marker. So let's get started. Episode 5 was Patrick Starfish, I believe, to be correct. So my daughter recommended that we draw some of the other characters from SpongeBob. Specifically, she recommended that we draw Gary. She seems to like Gary for some reason. He's cute to her. So let's get started. We're going to start right up here, as always, so that we have enough space on our paper to make sure that we can fit the full character. So we're going to start like this, right up here, with what looks like almost a semicircle, but it's a little bit more closed than a regular semicircle. Right next to that, we're going to get a full circle like this. Inside those circles, we're going to get 2 more circles. So we're going to go like this and like this. Let's do the same thing to the other eye. Add a circle, and inside that, let's get the second circle so we can start getting Gary's eyes together. Now Gary is a snail, so his eyeballs are held up by these really long antenna looking things, as I would call them, and we have to draw them out. Now, they're kind of weird looking because they're not perfectly straight. They move around with him. So let's get those in there. It's almost like you were drawing rectangles. Let's go back in here. And because Gary's a snail, his body is sluggish. Let's just add these little detail lines in here. Now let's add the rest of his body here, which is definitely that sluggish, wobbly kind of character, like so. Now, before we add the other details down here, let's get into his shell. Right in this section here, I'm going to draw a line like this, almost till you get to the end of that slug body that you were drawing. Let's go up just slightly so. And now the Gary's snail body, his shell, is almost like an upside down teardrop, or at least that's how I think of it, an upside down teardrop. So we're gonna go like that. Now let's finish attaching this shell to this so it looks like it's holding on to that snail body, that sluggish body. Let's finish off over here now that we know where our shell ended. And down here, Gary has like this color green that goes in the snail body. I would kind of say that's his goo, that gooey residue that he always leaves behind. In here, Gary has a very specific design. It almost looks like a little curly Q, almost like a unclosed letter P. So let's start at the bottom of his shell. We're going to loop it all the way around like that. We're going to double it up because if you know Gary, you know that his character, that P there, as I call the P, is a burgundy color. So let's go all the way around like so. So now we have that part. And he has 5 ovals that surround it. The largest one is actually up here. So let's get that oval illustrated in right here. He has 2 on this side, which are a little smaller. And he has another one right about here. And then we need 2 more on this side. Okay, so we pretty much have Gary illustrated at this point. He's a very, very simple character that's illustrated. I think we should add his bowl. So let's add his food bowl down here. He's always eating, or at least it feels like SpongeBob's always trying to feed him. So let's draw Gary's food bowl down here. So we're gonna start by drawing 2 lines that are parallel to each other like so. Let's connect those like that. And then here, before we close this bowl off, we're gonna draw just a little bit like so. And in here, let's add the food. Now the food always looks like slop to me. And the reason I didn't have you close it is so that you can really make the food look like it's overflowing in his bowl. If you remember, Gary's bowl has his name on it. So let's write Gary's name here. Because the food is slopping over, you're not gonna see the full R, and it'll look like this. So let's ground that food bowl so it looks like it's actually sitting on something, not just floating in the air. And underneath Gary, even though he moves slow, I think we should give him some sort of action line so it looks like he's wriggling away. So let's do very subtle action lines for him, like so. As always, let's initial, and let's put, you know, I always put a 20 for the year. And there you have it, SpongeBob's pet snail, Gary. I hope to see you next time.